All right, I won't say names. How about that? Okay, I won't say names.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah. All right.
You should. Can
you say names?
Will you
We can bleep
please
them out.
make up funny names for everyone that you're talking about?
Yes, the infamous pee pee poo poo killer.
Yes, that's. I would love it.
All right, so
Rhyme it really close.
Yeah.
Schmandin Schmamerma.
No, don't implicate me on this.
So in Spartanburg, Mouse Marylanders, one day
I don't know if you're.
there was a guy.
I think we missed the assignment, but okay.
Yeah.
So there was a guy named Bob Bullhep,
Sure.
and
That's good.
he buried a bunch of people on his property and killed them.
Well, in opposite order. He killed them, then buried them.
Yeah, he killed them, then buried him on his property. His name was Bob Bullhep.
Thank you for fucking keeping the facts straight.
And he had a Bonnex box, and he kept a girl in there chained up. And I made a video about it one day. And
Don't laugh at that part.
Yeah.
so they ended up figuring out that he was a burial biller. Because
You can say these words.
Yeah, you're bleeping out the wrong word. Cody's like, so John Smith was a burial biller. It's like, yeah, I think you missed it.
I like it this way. I think this is. I like it this way. This is much better.
Mr. Ballin with Brew Brime.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. There were some killings called the Booper Bike Billings.
Sure.
Where 5 people were shot and killed in near Spartanburg, South Carolina.
In a business.
Yeah.
In a business. There were 5 people shot and killed. They've never been able to figure out who did it, who went in there, and
Because they were dead. They couldn't figure out who did it because they were
Yeah,
dead.
exactly.
But nobody else could figure it out either.
Knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they killed all these people. And so a couple years later, there's a serial killer, burial biller, in Bartonburg, South Carolina, right?
Say serial killer.
Okay, serial killer.
What year, by the way?
So the
Roughly.
Superbike, the Booper Bike, sorry.
Bleep that, Chase.
The Booper Bike murders happened in the early 90s.
90s, yeah.
It was
I was
early
not
90s.
born, for the record. I
Yeah,
was
no one-
implicated in that. That was not. It was not me.
No one knew
Not
who
that
went in
time.
and just like shot all these people in this store where they sold motorbikes and they sold 4-wheelers and shit like that. And here comes along
Rich in that.
Bod Bullpep comes along, and he ends up having a bunch of dead bodies on his property. They're missing their feet, which no one knows that, but hey, here we are.
And they never found the feet.
They never found the feet. But there was the girl who was chained up in a Connex box.
Not even hot.
Bonnex box.
Not even hot at all.
Yeah,
She wasn't even hot.
She was in a Bombex box, and I made a video about it back in 2017, 18, something like that. And so the sheriff at the time, sheriff,
Sure. Yep.
sheriff,
Sheriff.
a sheriff comes along at the time, who is the sheriff of Bartonburg Bounty.
Yep.
And so
all
he
checks
goes
out.
in the room with the serial killer. They just called him because they found that girl in the Connex box and all the dead all the dead people on the property and all that stuff. And he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get re-elected again."
You know what this feels like? This feels like the little like awkward kid at fucking first grade who's like, "Hey, teacher, can I go pee in the corner?" And like, "Yeah, great." And then he points toward the class and pisses in the corner. It's like, well,
Anyways, this
we kind of fucking told you yes, but yeah, like,
I think it's going great. Proceed.
all right. So this guy, he's on trial for murdering a bunch of people on his property. He had a girl locked up
Bass
in his
Birder.
Connex box. Bass Birder. He's on trial for Bass Birder, right? And he's like, shit, I don't want to go to death row. And so the sheriff at the time goes in there and he's like, hey, if you confess to these Booper Bike Birders, then you're not going to be on death row anymore.
I like you're using pig Latin to hide something, essentially.
And
It's all bees.
And so
too.
Bod Bullpep at the time, he's like, all right, yeah, I did the Booper Bike murders. And then Bob Bullpep isn't on death row anymore, and the new sheriff gets elected. And around the same time, after I made my video, an FBI forensics expert
I like you said FBI clearly, and they were like Bexpert.
Clearly FBI. Federal Bureau of Investigation's Bexpert.
This Bet B by Bexpert hits me up via B-mail, and she's like, "Hey, the way that Bob Bulbep described these murders, he never did them. He never did the Booper Bike murders." I'm like, "Oh, that's fucking weird." And so it all comes down to Bob Bulbep never did the Booper Bike murders, but the sheriff at the time wanted to be elected again, so he got him to confess to it so he didn't go to death row. And
It's like a decades old, bold
decades
base.
old.
Bold base, yeah.
And it's accepted there that that's the
That's
truth.
the thing.
You mean a politician died to be bebected?
Yeah, he wanted to be bebected.
So he buyed.
I thought that was the truth until you told me earlier.
Yeah, but this Bet B
Exactly that way.
Well, that's
Dexter.
it was. He told it was a
Poor
weird story. I had
Chase
to-
in the audience. They're like, Chase is just like, I don't know what to edit in this episode.
You want to know what it's like to have a stroke? Welcome to my world.
yeah,
Anyways, new sheriff, or the current sheriff, was reelected, and
still sheriff.
Bob Bulbep didn't go to death row because he admitted to the Booper Bike birders. Anyways, that's I'm gonna get fucking murdered for that, but you know,
Yeah,
here we
burger.
are.
You're going to get birdered.
Burgered.
No, you're going to get, excuse me, birdered.
But yeah, hi, unsubscribe podcast. Hello.
It's a great story if anybody could.
Piece to
Figure it out what-
with
yeah.
fucking Cody's. I just like you were like the FBI Bexpert.
Dude, I'm sitting there like just thinking of like the dude from The Hangover, Zach Galifianakis, just like the fucking equations going by. Like our audience, like, there's a cold case here.
I'm gonna find this out.
I just have to change every B word, and I can figure this
Yeah.
out really easily.
Are we going to keep any of this podcast?
I think we got a good portion. We can keep a majority of
2-3
this.
minutes. This is maybe 2-3 minutes.
I wanted to talk about just like some of the places that you guys knew together. Fuck, you went into like an active investigation where somebody still who likes feet is fucking
Unsolved
at
mystery.
large.
Nah,
He's not at He's not at large.
He's in federal prison right now.
Yeah.
With
And I
the
think he
guy?
didn't get the death penalty because he admitted to the Booper Bike birders.
Yeah.
Is
And I
it-
think
Wait,
likes
oh.
feet is probably an understatement. If he ingested feet, maybe at some point, right?
Probably.
We
Yeah,
don't know
that's
where
probably
they
what
went.
he did with them.
Well, wait, is
I thought it was the guy who a guy who did other burial birders had confessed to something he didn't do, and that's where the feet were missing.
No, he already had the
Unrelated.
feet missing
Yeah.
on his
Oh,
property.
okay, got it.
Unrelated.
Okay,
The beat were missing on his property.
Yeah, unrelated.
Yeah.
bird.
Was there any more bodies showed up with beat bissing?
They didn't find them all. But there are definitely more bodies on his property, more than likely. But because he confessed to the Booper Bike birders,
Got it.
a new sheriff was elected.
All of this information, I will say that I heard earlier from somebody who wasn't him and told him this morning.
Yeah. That's all beer say.